Congresswoman, I am just stunned that there is more encampments being put up right now, just hours after New York tried to clear them out. You know, this bipartisan bill today, Nadler's saying it violates free speech. Are they using that as a tool to hide behind what is really happening here and the evil and the ugliness because of political fear that if they denounce it, that they'll lose votes?
I mean, the bill is using the International Holocaust Remembrance definition of anti-Semitism. It is just making it clear what is anti-Semitism. So it has nothing to do with free speech. It has to do with rooting out anti-Semitism, which is obviously very needed. You know, when we went with Jewish students last week, they told us not only are they dealing with racial slurs being hurled at them, they are also being spat on, some assaulted. They have to see swastikas on the campus. That is clear anti-Semitism, and it needs to be stopped. And the fact that the Democrats are trying to make excuses, trying to not acknowledge what is actually going on in these campuses, it's truly outrageous. But it really also shows America where the Democratic Party is right now, that they are so extreme that they would turn a blind eye to anti-Semitism, and that they would support students who are aligning themselves with Hamas and terrorist organizations.
It's true. In fact, just a short time ago, Alon, your campus put out a statement saying they had no choice to do this, as if they were feeling bad for the people who were causing fear and occupying buildings. Your reaction to Columbia's statement?
Look, Columbia could have resolved this weeks ago. It could have resolved weeks ago by shutting down the very first encampment. Right? Columbia knows who the main agitators are. They know who the students are who are agitating. They know which faculty members are agitating. The people who are arrested, that's not the main organizers. These people are still on campus, and we're going to still see much more harassment. We're going to still see much more disruption. And Columbia is effectively ignoring it or trying to apply a Band-Aid.
Congresswoman, there was a powerful moment in New York. The NYPD called it a proud moment overnight, and we want to share it with our viewers because it certainly is a moment here. Out of all the unrest, out of all the ugliness, they did take down a Palestinian flag that activists, probably paid agitators, who knows, had put up, and they changed it back to the American flag where it belongs. Obviously, New Yorkers know how to come together. Your constituents are fully aware of what's going on. But some sitting members of Congress are refusing to talk about it, whether it be Ilhan Omar ditching our reporter there, Jamal Bowman also not giving a comment after he heard Newsmax. If they're supporting this, why are they so afraid to talk about their side and their views?
Well, first of all, thank you to the NYPD for the great work they do each and every day under very difficult conditions. They do not have the backing and support of many elected officials, sadly, in New York. In fact, so many of them, including Bowman and AOC, try to make their job more difficult. They wanted to fund them and get rid of them altogether. But our NYPD is playing an important role here, but we also need our leadership to speak up. What is, when you're hearing people on the streets of our country chanting death to America, tearing down the American flag, flying the flag of Hezbollah in some cases, even in New York City not too long ago, that happened. We need elected officials to unequivocally denounce this type of not just anti-Israel, but anti-American rhetoric that is taking place on our campus. And across our streets, and in some cases even in Congress. I mean, I served on the Foreign Affairs Committee with Ilhan Omar. I've heard the anti-Semitic, anti-Israel rhetoric coming from her directly, but even anti-American rhetoric, blaming America, blaming our country for what is happening in socialist and communist countries in Central and South America. Absolutely outrageous. So there is an issue here with the leadership of the Democratic Party. But I would also say this. We need, Alon is absolutely correct. The university could have handled this correctly from day one. When we met with the president of the university last week, we told her that hoping that these individuals are just going to leave on their own is just ridiculous. That's not a strategy. That is not how you keep students safe. This should have been dismantled from the very beginning. NYPD should have been allowed to come on campus sooner. And again, you need to expel, suspend the students who are involved. If any of them are foreign students who are participating in anti-Semitic activity, they need to have their visas stripped and they need to be deported. And Congress needs to look at stripping the federal funding of these institutions if they do not hold faculty or staff or student organizations accountable. And that is what we're looking to do. I have a legislation that will do it. And I hope my colleagues in Congress will take that up.